Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is DMAC, and today I'm doing the second part of my giveaway challenge lock build. As I said in the last video, I'm going to be doing a 100 subscribers giveaway. Part of that giveaway was to give away some challenge locks along with some other padlocks. So in the last video, we selected one of these Yales, not one of these, it was this one here. We stripped him down and we modified all the bottom of the key pins. Now, as you can see there, that's what we were left with at the bottom there. Lots of serrations, spooled top sections, torpedo shapes. Very nice indeed. All I did between that video and this video is just give these pins a little bit of a polish. Something I like to do. Doesn't make the lock pick any better, but I think it's just a little bit of lock porn for us all to appreciate, if you like that sort of thing, which I do. The other thing I looked at was also the core. I didn't do any modifications to the core. As you can see, it did come as standard with this counter milling, which will help us along. But what I did was just make a couple of marks here, and that will help us with what we're going to do to the key pins in just a sec. So what I decided was, looking at these key pins, key pin 1 is very small. It's a very small key pin, so we'll have a longer driver pin. Now I thought if we put a similar section like that on that driver pin, let's just pop it down there, on that driver pin in chamber 1, and we count, sorry, that's chamber 1, in chamber 1, and if we counter mill this, that will catch in there quite like a gin spool in the Asa lock, so that's what that mark there signifies. Chambers 3 and 5 I intend to thread, and the reason being, if we look at what we did to pin 3, lots of nice serrations there and a long key pin, and also 6. Lots of serrations there on this key pin, so it makes sense to thread those. So hopefully we'll get around to doing that in this video if there's time. But for this video I thought we would concentrate on these key pins. Now what came as standard were these spools, but I thought we'd do something different with them. Like I said, I'm not going to use a spool in chamber 1 because that's going to be, I think we'll use one of these standard pins currently, and or we might even actually. So these are kind of spools that come in a pinning kit, like this one here. We've got a whole bunch of security pins there, so it's nice to use those as a base to start off with. So I think what we'll do is we'll deepen this spooled section here at the top, and that will act perhaps as an Asa style, gin style serration anyway, which will catch in 1. So that's what we're going to do in 1. I think in perhaps 3 and 5, where we're going to put these serrations, we'll put some serrated pins. So it might be an idea actually if we keep the spools in there, but what I'll do is I'll put serrations on the tips of the spools, rather like an American 1100 security pin spools, which are very nice. They have the spooled section, and then you've got those serrations either side, and that would work really well to give us full sets from the spools, and also the serrated tops of the spools will hopefully interact with any serrations that we're going to put in the core. So that's what we're going to do for those. So if we look down at the next pins, what should we do here? So we've got a short pin here on 5. I wouldn't mind doing a tapered pin there. So I'm going to use a standard driver pin there, and we'll taper this one. Maybe even a couple of serrations as well, just there. And let's get on with those, and then we'll come back to 2 and 4 and decide what we're going to do there. So let's start with this one, and we'll try and deepen this spooled section. There we go. In fact, I might just put my own spooled section there in the bottom. So let's do that and see how we get on. So I hope the last video wasn't too noisy. As I discussed in that, I'm not set up very well to do to mute the noise of the Dremel, so I hope it's not too noisy for you and you can put up with it. And also you can put up with me being out of focus with this tool. It's very difficult to machine these pins, hold the Dremel, look at the camera, and keep everything in focus and also see what I'm doing. So just bear with me and I'll show you each pin as we finish it. So with this one I'm going to use a hacksaw. I've got a nice sharp section on this particular saw blade just about here. So we'll just rest in there and cut nice and deep. Okay, let's get started. Okay, as I was making that, I kind of decided to make it deeper than the traditional gin spool. I'll show you him there. So that should match nice, catch nicely, sorry, with a counter milling that we're going to put into the core. And we'll test that out. There we go. So that's that one there, that's pin 1. Then we were going to do a tapered pin on 5, so we'll just pop this one. Oh, lost him there. I'm just kind of getting into picking tapered pins, so hence deciding to put some in this lock. They just require several pushes of the of your pick to set them. And can be a bit problematic. So I'm going to use this flat diamond file and just going to taper this pin, and then I'll probably put a couple of serrations on it just for fun. That one come out quite well, I think. You should cause some problems. You're going to need several pushes on that to set him, and those serrations should get in the way as well. What else were we going to do? We were going to look at these spools, and we were going to put a serration on either end, like the American 1100s. Can be a bit tricky to get these fixed in here. I think he's there. Lock him in, and I'm going to use the jeweler's file again, try to rest very carefully on there and get those serrations. I'll be doing these both sides on this one and both sides on that one. That one turned out a little bit high, but it'll do the job. I like to get those serrations bang in the middle, but that wasn't to be the case on this one. That's just the way it goes, and I just have to accept that and carry on. Let's try and get this one central. It's difficult to get it central, look at the camera and look at what I'm doing, so that's what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm just rubbing those pins with a very fine sandpaper afterwards to give them a little bit of a polish. That was, I think it's 1000 grit. There we go. That's quite nice. That second one came out a bit better. There we go. I'm trying to get it focused. It's just not the easiest thing in the world. I'm going to do the other one as well. So what I'm doing there, the process that I find works best with that jeweler's saw is to rest the saw on in the place that you want to cut, and then once you feel it bite, you just kind of go back and forward a few strokes. Yeah, go back and forward a couple of strokes and that gives you, there we go, those nice serrations there, similar to the American 1100 locks. We'll do that both ends and then we'll look at our last two pins for today. Just make sure he's sitting straight in the collet there. That one went quite smoothly. I was obviously getting the practice then. There he is. Very nice indeed. So we've got just these two pins to go here in these two chambers. So we'll get rid of those spools, and so I think I'll use another one of these. It's already a spool, this come in that set that I mentioned, and I'll just have a little play about with it and yeah, see if I can come up with something nasty there for pin 2. Just have a look at where pin 2 sits, how high he sits, sorry, in the... So he does sit quite low. I think I might make another tapered one then for 2. So I'll taper this bottom section and then perhaps put a few serrations in just for fun. Tricky to get him in there. There we go. He's in. So yeah, taper and then a couple of serrations. Just show you that one. There we go. Almost looks like a sort of wine stopper, doesn't it? Yeah, hopefully that'll cause some problems. And then we've got to just think of what we're going to do in pin 2. I think I'll just start with a blank for this one. Or at least try to. I'll tell you what I might do actually is select, if I can find one of those pins. So these are pins, they come in a lot of Yales and GGs, but I think what I'm going to try and do is make a sort of trampoline pin, and that's where we kind of bevel that center section, top and bottom, on this pin. So let's give that a go. I've not tried it before. I don't know if it will work, but either way it should give us an interesting security pin. Tricky to do because it's quite a small pin to use, but let's see if we can get him held in there tightly, and then it should work. So I'll have to do one end at a time. We'll do this end first, bevel this section. And it's probably best to use this triangle needle file. It's got some fine points on the back there, so I'll try and do that carefully. Sorry if it goes out of focus. I'll be trying to concentrate on what I'm doing, but I'll show you it after I'm finished. I was tempted to try and put a serration on then, but it kind of slipped off. We got a small cut. There we go, a small serration. Okay, let's try this side. I might just go back and do that first side again. I think we got a better cut on the second time. But saying that, I may not have enough material to hold in the chuck, so I might just leave this one as is. So yeah, it's kind of a trampoline pin, I think they're called, just with that rounded section in the middle. Either way, it will cause whoever tries to pick it some problems. So let's just arrange these quickly. I'll let you have a look at our finished pins. There we go. So we're going to put an undercut in chamber 1 for this little ridge to catch onto. We've got our trampoline style pin, serrated spool, tapered serrated in 4, another tapered serrated in 5, and another serrated spool in 6. So I think that's probably it for this video. Thanks for watching this one. What I'll do is I'll do one more video, I think, in this series, in which we'll just do some modifications to the core here, as discussed at the start of this video, and then we can perhaps put it all together and yeah, see what we've got. And I'd like to do some engraving on this as well. I need to give this one a name, so if you can think of a name, actually, that would be fantastic. Put it in the comments below, and if there's anything that sounds good in there, perhaps we can do that to name him. Or I might just name him myself, I don't know. But either way, yeah, we'll do some engraving on this, and we'll put a little tag on the key and get them all finished up in the next video. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Appreciate if you'd hit subscribe. I'll do a link over here to the first video in this series, or on to the next one when that one comes up. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.